Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Joint Mobilization. We are now in the fourth part of this five-part series discussing what is PJM and how to apply it in the clinical setting. So now we're going to be discussing the grading system. So hopefully you've watched the previous videos. Hopefully you understand the concepts because this part gets really technical and I'm not going to be reviewing the basic principles anymore. So let's hop right in. There are two types of grading systems when you apply PJM. We have the non-thrust oscillation techniques, and we also have the non-thrust sustained play, joint play techniques. The difference between these two is that this one, reference from Maitland, uh, uses oscillations similar to vibratory movements, while this one from Kaltenborn is more similar to stretching in a way and doesn't really apply vibrations. So let's get into it. I just took these from Kistner. These are just screenshots from the book, so you can just check it out if you want a longer explanation, but essentially these are the most important parts. Maitland non-thrust oscillation techniques. I do not like you. It's very hard to understand, especially for a dummy like me. Um, okay, I'm gonna try my best. Okay, so there is a type of dosage and rate of application that is indicated for each type of technique. And Kistner, you can see the pictures actually. You can check out all the pictures on how to perform these techniques. So I won't be really discussing those because it's a bit hard to do that if we're just doing a PowerPoint. So you can just check those out in the book. It's more explained there. For for Maitland, we have four grades. Okay. Grade 1. Let's read through this together. Small amplitude rhythmic oscillations are performed at the beginning of the range. They are usually rapid oscillations like manual vibrations. What does this mean? First, in PJM, you will always have to distract before you apply a technique. With grade 1, you're just distracting to a small amount, not really middle of range, not the end of the range, beginning of range. So I want you to focus on these terms. Beginning of range, small amplitude. Okay? What do you mean by small amplitude rhythmic oscillations? It's just a little bit like this. You see my cursor here? Just like it's just a little bit. It's not a lot. It's just a little bit. You're just moving the joint space a little bit. You distract and then you apply. So this is where it is. So it's within the available joint play. Next, we go to grade 2. Now, it's performed within the range. So you're now not at the beginning, you're within the middle of the range. This time it's large. It's large time. So let's say you distract to the middle of the range, within the range, and you apply large oscillations, vibratory. So usually this is performed for 2 to 3 seconds per oscillation. I mean, no, you perform 2 to 3 oscillations per second for 1 to 2 minutes. Meaning, let's say for 3 seconds, for 1 second, you perform 3. So example, 1, 2. So 1, 2. You get me? I'm counting the second, right? So for 1 second, there has to be 3 of these. So 1, 1, 1, 1. You get me? Then you do that for 2 minutes. That's gonna be very exhausting. So try your best, buddy. Next, we have grade 3. Now we're going beyond tissue resistance. You could go to the limit of available motion, and you could stretch into available tissue resistance. You can see here. And this is also large amplitude width, so it's like this though. And same parameters, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you count it. So per second, there's 2 to 3 oscillations for 2 minutes. I would prefer if you're just doing like a test not really the actual patient care. You could just do 2 oscillations per second for 1 minute. That's easier for you because we're not exactly used to it yet. I mean, I haven't even been able to perform any of these on an actual patient. So if it's just testing your knowledge and skill, sure, just choose the lower one. Next is our last grade, grade 4. This is similar to grade 1. It's a small amplitude rhythmic oscillations. However, it's different because it's stretched to the limit of available motion. And you get to the tissue resistance. Hell yeah. So these are rapid oscillations like manual vibrations. So you just do this. Same. Same as grade 1. So, you know, one way to memorize this is that I like to think of the number. I like to think of the number 1423 because if I think about it, it's these two, grade 1 and 4, are small amplitude, grade 2 and 3 are large amplitude. So I would think 1, 4, 2, 3, right? Because these are similar and these are basically the same. It's just different. It just looks complicated because you're stretching into different types of range of motions. But if you really just remember that this is at the beginning, this is at the end, and this is somewhere in between, then that's good. Usually, it's very difficult to determine which one is within the range and at the end of the range because especially if you're unexperienced like me. So, yeah, I don't have any tips for that. I'm sorry. It's gonna take a few months, a few years to actually master this, but for now, I think I'm fine with just understanding and being able to show, professors and the people grading me that yeah, I know how to do an oscillation. Okay, so we've discussed Maitland quite quickly actually. Let's go to Carlton-Born. Carlton-Born, I actually like this one a bit better because you're not gonna be as tired since this is basically similar to stretching. So it's indicated by the name, the rate of application is slow and sustained for several seconds, followed by partial relaxation, and then reported depending on indications. So, same thing. Grade 1 is within beginning of the range, and you just apply a distraction. So you just distract, like that, but small amplitude only. That's why it's called loosen. You're just loosening the joint. You're not really applying a lot of force. You're just trying to loosen it up, relaxing. Not really relaxing, actually. It's an awful analogy. Just loosen it. When you're trying to loosen a knot, just moving it farther apart, moving the knots a little bit farther apart from each other, then you can just loosen it. Tighten, however, you're going into the limit of tissue resistance. So this is Kaltenborg called this taking up the slack. So you just pushing a little bit further until you reach tissue resistance. So if you feel that the two bones have, you know, distracted and have reached tissue resistance, then that's when you're stopped for grade 2. So grade 3 is similar to stretching. So you go beyond tissue resistance and until just here before the anatomic limit because you don't want to break your patient's joint. So you just apply until you're stretching the joint capsule in the periarticular structure. So you apply a lot. So it's green, loosen, tighten, stretch. So the parameters for cotton board, usually it's few seconds, usually 7 to 10 seconds of the distraction, and then you relax. Then you let go. Not don't let go. Don't let go. Don't suddenly let go. Don't do that. Sorry, wrong wording. So 7 to 10 seconds of distraction, and then you slowly ease it up back to its original placement. Let the joint relax for a few seconds, maybe 2 to 3, and then you do it again. How long do you do it for? I actually don't remember the parameters. Wait, give me a moment. Okay, I've checked the book and my notes. Maybe I'm just dumb, but it doesn't really say. But usually you do 7 to 10 seconds. I just don't know how long you do it for. But yeah, maybe just 1 minute. Same as the other one because that's the other parameter. But don't quote me because I am not a reliable source. I'm only here to share my my understanding of the topic. Am I right, folks? That is a horrible accent. What am I saying? What are we doing again? Right, we're discussing um what am I saying? Oh, yeah, we're discussing this. Sorry, I got distracted. Oh my god. Okay, wait. Should I include this in this video? You know what? I'm gonna include this in another part because I'm gonna include it in part 5. Yeah, I'm gonna include it in part 5 because this is not gonna take up 5 minutes. I swear you. I need 10 minutes to this. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. I'm sorry if I got distracted in the end, but I hope you did understand the grading systems. Just remember, Maitland is vibration, cotton board is distraction. Thank you and goodbye.